So I was having a conversation with my mother sometime back, and I was reminded of this experience. And I realized that this story was in my life was so important for me to ground in the idea, for the idea of boundaries to ground in my life. And of course, I was going through like a really transformative time in general, but I think this was a clarity which hit me really hard, and it made me feel uncomfortable, but it was one of the most powerful realizations I had. If you're somebody who really truly cares about another human being, about your loved ones, and if you feel like you're the type of person who wants to love and care and nurture and uplift and just kind of make your loved ones happy, then you should keep watching, because I'm pretty sure that you will resonate with something in this video, because I was that person. I am a person, in fact, I'm not was that person, I am that person. I am a person who really truly wishes well for everybody. I want everybody to have a good life. But as I'm saying that, the understanding and the definition of a good life over the years has changed. So at one point of time, a good life was, the other person should always be happy and be drowning in sweet, good experiences. But now the definition of good life is very different. It is a wholesome life. It's a life that we deserve, where we get to follow what feels right to us, to go through experiences which empower us. And a lot of times those empowering experiences in the moment are very, very hurtful. They're painful and growing pains, right? So this is one of those episodes. Isn't every episode that episode? I mean, I don't know. I'm feeling called to making this one, so I'm making this one. I don't even know if I'm going to follow it up with the next one. Now that all of that basic extra talk is done, here is the story. The story goes like this. I was with my family traveling to Rishikesh, and it's a tourist place, and so there are a lot of travelers who come by. So there were this group of women who had come with 2 male guides, and so me and one of my sisters, we were somewhere. And I saw one of the male guides was the way he was looking at one of the girls is back. I didn't like it, and so I very, very calmly, indirectly told him. I noticed him doing it because I was standing right next to him, right in front of him in fact, and he was just looking at her back, and I told him that, what you are doing right now, I can see it and it's not nice, so please don't do it. I said it in Hindi, of course, but this is what I said. And so because he felt very pushed to the corner, because I literally caught him red-handed looking at her back, he got enraged and he got loud, and he was like, who are you to tell me I was not doing it, what are you talking about? So he kind of lashed out loudly at me. I was calm because I knew what I'd seen, and I know the way he was looking at her. I know the look. So I repeated myself, and then the girl whom he was looking back, she turned back and she was like, okay, what happened? She was trying to supposedly solve the problem because he had become angry and loud. So she turned back and she said that, what happened, what's the problem? So she was not from India, clearly. She was from outside India. So I was speaking to her in English, and I told her that, the way he was looking at you, I didn't like it. So I just told him that, and he's feeling angry because I got him red-handed. And then what she said to me changed my life. She told me that if he is looking at me, my body, who are you to butt in? Ironically. So I was like, look, I'm a woman, you're a woman. And just the way he's looking at you, I find it disrespectful, so I'm telling him not to do what he's doing. And so she pressed on, and on her point, and she said that if he was looking at your body, you could have said something, but he's looking at my body, and I have no problem if he's looking at my body. So, who are you to tell me anything? And who are you to point that out to him? And I quietly understood. I felt hurt, obviously, and I stepped back, because she had a point. She had a point in what she was saying. And with that experience, it stayed for me for 3 days. At that time, I did all of my forgiveness practices. I did all of my rationalizations. Rationalizations being like, oh, she was traveling with him, and she needs to take care that there is no. Maybe it could be possible that she was afraid that had she confronted him, it would have negative consequences for her. So she didn't want, to ruffle feathers and all of that, which I understand. So I tried to rationalize the situation. I did my forgiveness practices. I did my acceptance practices, whatever it was at that moment. All of that I had. But still, this experience just stayed with me until it clicked in for me that it is true. You really, really can't help another person, because what I was trying to do in my head is I intervened into the situation, or rather I interfered, because I felt I was helping her, right? But it wasn't help for her, clearly. I probably was interfering in her life. And that brought me to the realization that it is possible that what is help for one person is interference for another person. And I only have control over the way that I think, feel, and act. And it is true, no matter what I told that man, he could revert back to doing whatever he was doing. That is his life, his choice, and his life, his choice, his consequences will have, he will have consequences according to his choices and decisions. And so it was so huge for me, and it made me realize that, then how do I help? What is truly helping another person? How do I truly uplift a person? Because my intention didn't change. My intention hasn't changed through the years of wanting to uplift somebody, because it's just too powerful within me. I can't shake it off. Even when I was in my lone wolf phase and deeply working on myself, and I was very strict and disciplined about human interaction, literally. I took a lot of time and space and got really deep within and all of that. Even through all of that, my intention to go through the lone wolf phase was also because I wanted to know where I actually do have influence. How can I truly uplift another person? And it's just not in that one experience. It's been through so many experiences after that. In fact, even before that, now that I, once that understanding clicks in for you, you kind of reflect back onto your life, and you're like, oh, so even that experience were all showing me the same thing. They were all showing me the same things, and what they were showing me is that the way my focus, my alignment, my alignment and my focus has the greatest influence. My presence, my energy has the greatest influence in uplifting another person. Sure, telling someone, advising someone when it is asked for, or sharing your opinion with someone also definitely has influence, but not as powerfully as alignment does. And alignment in terms of, I think I use this word alignment a lot because this one word is very, very important to me. And I don't know if you people have come across the teachings of Abraham Hicks, but it changed my life, and I love the way that they talk about alignment, and I love the way that they talk about spirituality and I feel that it's a very integrative explanation of where mental health and spirituality, the interplay of mental health and spirituality, self-development and all of that, and manifestations, etc. So alignment and focus, my alignment, my ability to be able to navigate experiences is the best way that I choose to influence somebody. And that brings me back to the point of being, doing, acting, focusing on things that feels right to me, that feels good to me, and that is how, so that experience really helped, showed me what I can do about it, how I can love more and more people, not just my birth family. Honestly speaking, today, July 2024, and my family knows it, I've told it to them, that I have come to a point where I've become quite detached with my birth family, and almost equal amounts open to strangers. So sort of that gap, because I was a person who was very, very hierarchical in terms of, oh, this is my family, as very fierce and protective and very, very attached with my family, or whom I called family and close friends, and so on and so forth. So now I've become more like, I love people, and I love people. It doesn't have to be like, I go by what feels right to me. So there are times when I connect to people who, in fact, I still am in touch with, who I've actually met in a grocery store. He's like a father figure to me. And if you're watching this, PP, thank you. But I have met people at a grocery store, and somehow, even though initially I had my guards up, but that the exchanges of messages, it's somehow a part of my life. So he's a father figure in my life, and I genuinely wish him well, and I know that it's the same for him. He sees me as a daughter, and he shares whenever he wants to. It's a very free experience, and I could not have done this. I cannot live like this if I don't know my boundaries, and if I don't know, and by boundaries I mean how much I have to give, and when I realize that I have to stop, and I need to receive now. So giving starts with yourself, right? And I've been obviously on a self-love journey for a really long time, and it's beautiful. And so now whatever I get from others is either a reflection of me fulfilling my needs, or the way that I treat myself, or it's a bonus because I've already fulfilled my needs. And when I started to realize my boundaries and started to assert them, honestly, I felt guilty. I felt selfish. I felt really uncomfortable in saying that I need this. I need this time to myself. That I'm sorry, I can't do this for you right now. I can't be there for you right now. I don't have the capacity to. I felt guilty. And but still I just kept going, because somewhere I knew that the other way doesn't work, because I had lived the other way far too long. I had pushed myself far too much, bent over backwards for the ones I love, and just people in general, in order to expecting that doing that for somebody else would fill my cup, would make me happy. It's not that seeing someone else smile doesn't make me happy. It does make me happy, but it's not a sustainable means. It's very, very temporary, and I can't live my life like that. Maybe one or two times when I'm mindful enough nowadays, when I can feel okay, maybe I can bend a little bit, but then I quickly kind of step back and I do my own thing. But because I had lived like that, I was running myself dry, bending backwards and just breaking my bones, trying to satisfy and please someone else. And there have been a lot of times where, after I was running out of breath and gave my last bag of oxygen to someone else, that person in question has turned back and said that, what did you do for me? You weren't even there for me. And these instances have happened, and I'm pretty sure it happens with a lot of us who are people who are empathetic, who naturally end up giving and who deeply care. They might not even expect anything in return, because we usually don't realize that we need it ourselves. And obviously this ties into a lot of, karma and childhood trauma and all of that, which I'm not going to get into. But to realize that I deserve the love that I so openly give out to everybody around me was a big realization. And this one experience, it just stayed with me, and I'm very grateful to that girl and to that man for playing those exact roles in my life, because I wouldn't have been here without them, because it was an uncomfortable, inconvenient realization when I first realized that, oh, she's right, but protecting someone and supporting someone, because in my head supporting someone was be there for them, stand next to them, take a stand for them, fight for them if necessary, vocalize, verbalize, do something. So that was my understanding of supporting somebody. But obviously now I understand that supporting somebody, when I can now I can sense that, okay, that person is not receptive to help. They are not receptive to support at the moment, even though they are crying out for support. If I step in at this moment, they will not even be able to receive it, because I've been on both sides. I've been on the side where I've been wanting to give support to somebody, and I've also been on the side where I realized that I was calling out for help and nobody was there. Yeah, nobody was there because I wasn't in a receptive space. I could never receive help. And it's not that, I'm pretty sure that when I needed help and I asked for it, I'm pretty sure there were sources that were willing to support me. But because I was not in a receptive space, I couldn't receive it. I was completely empty, and I was in that focus. My focus was on the fact that, oh, there's nobody, there's nothing, there's nothing and there's nobody, everybody's, I was in a very dark place. Right? And because another experience was that I was sitting with me and my family. We'd gone to watch a movie in the theater, and I'll tell you why I'm laughing. So we'd gone to watch a movie in the theater, and I had a little spat with one of my sisters, and we went in the hall, and I remember watching the movie. I had no idea what was playing on the screen. Apparently it was, according to the critics, not a very good movie, and I will not name the movie, but apparently it was not a good movie. But I was crying, I think, for 2.5 hours uncontrollably, and my family was sitting next to me, and my mom was there, and she's touching me, and she's like, what happened? And I remember feeling so alone. I was surrounded by my loved ones, and even, other public. I didn't give an F. I did not. Nothing mattered. I felt like I was alone in a dark space, and I didn't even care what was playing in front of me. Through the intermission, through everything, I was just crying, because I had never felt so alone. And that experience was so beautiful. It was so beautiful because it made me realize what I needed to be for myself. And that was God, I didn't even expect to talk about this story, but if it's flowing through me, I'm just gonna say it anyway. I don't know how long. It's been 20 minutes. But since these vlogs are just I think I'm gonna stop right now. It's been freaking 20 minutes. I don't even know if anybody's gonna watch it this long. Anyway, whether you watch it or not, maybe you will, maybe you won't. I will not assume. I've said what I've had to say, maybe a little more. No, I believe that I say whatever needs to be said, and I was happy to share these instances from my life because they are very meaningful to me, they're very special to me, and if it has resonated with you in some way, then let me know. Thank you.